Hey guys, EDDBUD here. Today a bit of a discussion piece for you. Is the running shoe balance of power changing in 2021? A discussion piece for you today, guys, to maybe get you thinking, get those cogs turning a little bit, get a little debate going down in the comments. Today I'm going to discuss whether the running shoe balance of power is changing in 2021. Every time I enter a Skechers store, I mean, it's been a while since I've been to somewhere else where there's a Skechers store, but when I do go in there, I often end up leaving empty-handed and very perplexed. They never stock any of the performance line shoes in those Skechers stores. Despite there being loads of good reviews out there for Skechers performance shoes, you just can't go into a shop and buy them here. Very occasionally, we can get some online here in the UK, but it's only certain models and just a few sizes, and they sell out really quickly. I managed to get a pair of those Speed Elite Hypers recently, and they're fantastic. And I've managed to track down another pair on Skechers' own website, but still, there aren't many. I was pleasantly surprised with the quality of the shoe. The craft was actually pretty good, albeit that's a higher end Skechers performance offering, but it was certainly on par with something from Nike or Adidas. It got me thinking as to why the UK, which is full of relatively run-happy people, receives very little attention from Skechers in terms of their performance line. Is it just such a small niche part of their business that they don't bother? A few third-party suppliers stock them, but only a few models, a few sizes, and there's never a big fanfare about them. Even for their own website, there's not an awful lot of advertising for these shoes. They don't really blow the trumpet at all. Perhaps they just view the market here as a very tiny avenue that's just not worth exploiting. You do see a few comments of the rather uneducated variety about Skechers shoes.
Oh, have they got lights in the bottom?
But I think the real runners over in the UK know that actually Skechers produce some really decent stuff. They can knock out a good shoe, and for a reasonable price. Other brands though in 2021 are taking on the market, trying to steal some of that market share away from Nike and Adidas. Since the unveiling of their Nitro lineup in February of 2021, Puma have pummeled the competition in the first quarter of the year. I think there was like a sales increase of about 250% in their running shoe lineup. Certainly when compared with 2020, you didn't see an awful lot of people wearing running shoes from Puma in 2020. The single month of March, apparently there was a 650% increase in Puma running shoe sales compared to the last year. I mean, that's just absolutely huge, isn't it? I think a launch with very clearly defined products there. I mean, you've got the daily use Velocity Nitro. That compares up against any other daily shoe from any other manufacturer. You got that stability themed Eternity, and then of course the speed focused Liberate Nitro. It isn't really that small, it's just further away. I think it's really easy for runners to understand what each individual shoe is supposed to be for. Plus the price points are spot on. Someone's clearly looked at it and said, if we put this shoe at too high a price, no one will buy it. People don't have an awful lot of money right now. Let's make them affordable. Let's make them attractive to people. And it works. Shock horror. I mean, you can pick up the Liberate Nitro for well under £100, can't you? And that Velocity Nitro's under 100 as well. It's surely going to force other brands' hands a little bit, isn't it? When you consider some of the supposed daily shoes that have been released by Nike and Adidas over the last 12 months. I mean, the Invincible Run, I understand it does work for some people, but there's lots of people it doesn't work for. Well, that's a big gamble at £160. I mean, you can almost pick up the Adios Pro if you could find one for a tiny bit more. Or you could buy the Saucony Endorphin Speed, couldn't you? I know which I'd rather buy. If I had that money in my hand right now, I know exactly what I'd do. I think where some of the bigger, more established brands have confused things over the last 12 months, there's been undefined releases. Certainly from Nike, you've had that Vomero, the Miler, the Invincible Run, the Infinity Run, Flyknit 2. There was that great Adi Zero Pro from Adidas that they just didn't really seem to push at all. I mean, Amado, you know it's a good shoe. I know it's a good shoe, but there's lots of other people out there that have slept on that one. The Boston 9, the SL20.2. What is the purpose of some of them? I think it's a bit undefined, whereas Puma have got it spot on. It's really easy to understand what they're for. Some of those shoes as well now seem to sit and they're at discount, which suggests to me that they haven't sold that well. Are things changing in 2021? Well, we've got that Boston 10 that's soon to arrive from Adidas, but that's not really like any of the past Boston lineup at all. I mean, it looks more like the Adios Pro, doesn't it? From first sight, it's got a huge stack there. Nike have just released iterations of the shoes from last year, haven't they? We've got a Miler 2, which just seems almost identical to the first one. We got the Pegasus 38, which is a bit of an improvement. I think it's very clear what that shoe's supposed to be for. And then of course they'll keep on milking that Vaporfly cash cow. Just upper amendments there, they've kept the midsole exactly the same. Don't need to change it. Are they worried that one of the old rivals is back again with a set of shoes that could actually deprive them of a bit of their market share? The imminent release of the Puma Deviate Elite Nitro with the carbon plate and that lighter upper could provide even further sleepless nights to Nike and anxious days to Adidas. I mean, that shoe's going to be light, it's going to be dynamic. That Nitro foam is really something all of its own. Hopefully the upper fit will be on point, and a carbon plate only cheaper than loads of the other options. Saucony have been a long-standing brand in terms of runners, and some retro sneaker enthusiasts as well. But last year they bit out a big chunk of the Big Two's market share with that Endorphin series. Namely the Speed, that was a big shoe. Lauded amongst many a runner. I think it will go down in folklore, that shoe. Just so many people like it. I think I've only ever seen like 2 people that didn't get on with it and didn't enjoy it. I mean, mine squeaked after a while like a mouse, but I still liked it. Certainly a well-priced propulsive partner to the more rigid Pro. It's a bit of a tongue twister, that one. Supply did seem a little limited for part of the year for the Endorphin Speed, but numerous weird and wonderful versions are available now at your fingertips. And of course they got the forthcoming sequel as well that seems to be coming in June, I think. Could be a nice little birthday present for EDDBUD. Is that my what? It's okay, it was just another shoebox avalanche. ASICS gave us the sight of a new dawn last year with that Meta Racer. A speed shoe that I think perhaps left people wanting a little bit more cushion. It wasn't exactly the return shot to Nike and Adidas that everybody thought it might be. And they've sort of delivered that in 2021 with the Meta Speed Sky, although you can't really buy it anywhere. The RC Elite 2 from New Balance builds upon that superb shoe that New Balance released last year, the RC Elite, although it does seem like a bit of a departure. Where that RC Elite excelled so much was in the fact it was so light, it was nimble, it didn't have any more than it needed, and that outsole. More foam here and an even higher price, and the RC Elite was pretty pricey anyway. I mean, they're both serious dough, that New Balance and ASICS shoe. Do you sense a shift in power away from Nike and Adidas? I mean, certainly in terms of podium finishes, it's been all about the swoosh and the 3-stripe brand. Or is that just down to sponsorship and performance, just getting the shoes to the right people? Does that keep them ahead of the pack? I'm not sure. Will more runners this year adopt the ASICS and New Balance shoes when we finally get some proper race schedules back again? Despite now, though, that they've got a higher retail price than some of the big brand shoes. I find it hard to believe that in the UK that many people are going to swing towards those. Certainly in terms of Nike making the Next Percent 2 much more available now, and of course a tiny bit cheaper, and it's almost like the industry standard now. People are wearing those from park runs to tempo runs. Nike do seem to have solved those availability issues, don't they, with the top end shoes. They seem to be able to pull them out of thin air, no pun intended there. And that issue's plagued all the other manufacturers last year. Like 12 months of really weird production problems, and certainly getting the shoes to the right places as well seemed to be a real chore. Let me know in the comments, guys, how you think 2021 is going to go. I have to say, I think I see little change in what we've seen over the last year. A quick running interlude for you now. Is that strange bloke that sounds a bit like me. Heaven knows why I thought it would be a really good idea to come and do a little bit of trail, or light trail running today in this weather. It's dreadful. Really windy, really wet, but I wanted to get off the concrete and off the road, do something a little bit different, give the legs a bit of a rest, give the feet a rest on some softer ground. I think it's a good idea to mix it up occasionally, keep the terrain a little more varied. Being treated to a cool bird show just above me. Certainly going to have to be careful. There's loads of branches down. There's some quite high winds, so need to be aware of my surroundings a little bit. Trying to keep the effort nice and sustainable today. A lot of faster miles only going to lead to injury, really, too many. Yeah, so keeping this one firmly easy, slightly into aerobic. Just taking a minute to appreciate the beauty. You know, this is like 2 miles from my house. It's just wonderful, and I've not seen a soul. I've not seen a single person yet. Sadly, the way back does mean running directly into the wind, which isn't exactly what I had on the cards. It's very wet and very windy here. Come to England, it'll be a holiday. Beautiful May weather. It's fantastic. Yeah, I could have just ran 3-4 miles around the block or something, couldn't I? But will I remember that in years to come? No way. I'll always remember this when I run out in the middle of May in this song. I was going to head up the hill, but you know, that's these guys' domain. They seem quite happy. Good thing is they're stood up, which means it's not going to rain. It's not going to rain later. This is just a shower, just a light, very light shower. Okay, feel a bit more alive now. I'll see you back in the studio. An EDDBUD video wouldn't be complete without a quick musical interlude. I've been back listening to the Cramps recently. In fact, one of my favourite videos on YouTube is a rip that somebody's done of the Cramps playing at Napa State Mental Hospital. It is worth checking out. It's something that you'll probably never have seen before. I got a great album from the Cramps called Off the Bone, which has got loads of tracks from all sorts of different places. One of my favourites on there is Domino, which is unhinged. It's got this kind of tremolo on Lux Interior's voice. It's it's really cool, but they've just got that raw rockabilly sound. They've just got a bit wrong. I really like their version of Lonesome Town as well. Lux sounds like he's really upset. He's gonna just sort of fall on the floor and burst into tears. And there's a track later on this one called New Kind of Kick, again, which has just got the classic Cramps sound. Poison Ivy on the guitar. I think that's why I've always liked Gretsch guitars, because she played one of those. I do remember that there was a promotions agency. I say a promotions agency, it was a couple of young guys back in the early noughties, and they used to go by the name of Human Fly, and they used to do gigs all the time, like a couple of gigs a week. There was a really good music scene around here back then. Very exciting times. Do go and check that one out, guys. Off the Bone by the Cramps. Right, that's about all for me for today. I'm going to go and get a bit of rest and relaxation in, bit of recovery. I think we're already about 25, 26 miles this week, so it's been a busy one. If you're enjoying the videos, guys, please do hit that subscribe button and click the bell below for notifications of when I launch those new ones for you. It really helps the channel out too if you give this video a thumbs up like, and also share this video with your running buddies. My name's EDDBUD, and I'll be seeing you